Hi everyone, what's up? I hope you're all doing well. If you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Juliana and I'm a GoldenGate expert. And if you already know this channel, welcome back. I love seeing nerds like me here exchange information and knowledge about this awesome product. In today's video, I will talk about OCI GoldenGate and build up a data replication between two autonomous databases. So enough of talking, let's just do it. So the first thing we'll have to do is to actually create our GoldenGate deployment. And for that, I'm just here connected to my tenancy in the OCI. Then here we go to the left corner of this hamburger menu, and then we just go to Oracle database, GoldenGate. And in order to create a new deployment, it's just like very easy, it just takes 3 clicks. Just go here to the create deployment, we give a name. Then here the all CPU count. So the minimum is 1 and this can go up to 24 all CPUs. This is most based on the amount of power that you deliver to the GoldenGate instance, okay? So for development and trials, we just go with 1, and then for productive scenarios, we can increase this number depending on the workload. And here the auto-scaling function, which is pretty cool. So this means that based on this number that we put here to the OCI count, the auto-scaling feature would just scale up to 3 times depending on your workload. And of course, after this peak is over, then GoldenGate will just do the downgrade of the CPU to the base number here. So this is quite useful. Then we select the subnet. In my case, will just be public. And I also like to create a public endpoint. Just means that it will provide me an address in the internet that I can access my GoldenGate deployment. Also possible to create in a private subnet if you want. Then you will need Bastion services, or you need to deploy a compute instance on your private subnet in order to access the GoldenGate deployment. But just for the sake of this demo, I will just create a public endpoint. And then we can just go here next, and here we select the technology. So in today's video, we'll only do the replication between 2 autonomous databases, so this is already correct. But if you're interested, there is also MySQL or big data available. In the future, I would like to record another video to capture the data from autonomous database, for example, and deliver it into Apache Kafka, which is pretty cool to do. But in today's, it will be just between Oracle databases. And here I will give a name and username and password. This is just will be in order to access our GoldenGate deployment using the web interface, and push create. So when I push create, this will take a couple of minutes and it will just deploy a pre-configured GoldenGate instance for me, okay? I will let this one create in here, but for today's video, I'll use this one that is already active and up and running. So after it's in this green status inactive, it will show you lots of information. For example, the address, the version of the GoldenGate, amount of CPU that you have assigned, the network configuration, and also some metrics here, which is really useful if you want to monitor your GoldenGate instance. And that's it. We do have our deployment, and now what we need is to create connections. So the connections just means the connection for the source database and to the target database we are dealing with today. So here I already do have the source and the target created, but I will just give you an example for you here. So you give a name, and then here you selected the type. In today's video, we will use autonomous database. And you push next, and here you can just select the database, yeah, because it's already created in the OCI. So here just pick my database name and insert the password for it. Cool. So after you push create, it will just create in the background the source and the source connection. And then afterwards, you do need to assign this connection to a specific deployment. And the deployment is the one that we have created, yes. So I have created the connections to the source database, and now I just do the same for the target database. And our target database in today's videos is also autonomous database, but a different one, data warehousing. So we can just select here. Username is already pre-configured, it's already pre-existing this ggAdmin in all the autonomous databases, so that's why it comes like here already selected. And here we give the password and push create. And that's it. So let's go here to our source that we just have created. So we have to assign this connection to our deployment. And the deployment, yeah, it was the demo 3 that I just create. Push assign, and I do the same for the target DB. After is green, of course. Just wait a couple of minutes until is green here. And we can just assign this connection to the deployment that we just created. So after you have created your GoldenGate deployment and the connections and assigned these connections to the GoldenGate deployment, now it's time to just create our extracts and replicas. And before we do that, we do need to add some tron date information and also some checkpoint tables. So here you can just come to the configuration tab. It will appear all the connections that you have created previously in OCI, and then you just click here, action to connect. Then we do create a checkpoint table. Checkpoint table is just useful to GoldenGate to have accurate information about what it was the last row that it was captured from the source and what is the last row that was applied to the target. So it's kind of exactly a checkpoint mechanism to make sure that no data will be lost during this process of data replication. So then here I have created my checkpoint table. Then while connected to the source database, I also have the need of adding supplemental log data to the schema or to the tables that I'm working with. Because GoldenGate needs some information when it works with log miner to make this capture data works. So here we have two options. So we can like add return data on the entire schema, or we can also create supplemental logging for a specific table. In our case, we are just replicating one table, so I can just go here and push the button create, table name, and I want supplemental logging to be enabled for all the columns of this table, and click submit. Perfect. And now just as a double check, we can check if the supplemental log table was enabled, if it's ready. Yes, it is. Perfect. And that's it. So we have done the work necessary on the source database. Now we connect on the target database, because there we also need to create the checkpoint table. Easy like that. Submit. Then the table will appear here. And for the target database, a small remark, we do not need the tron data supplemental logging added to the schemas or to the tables we are replicating to, because the only job of the replicate here is just to apply the data. It's just to apply the DMLs and DTLs. It doesn't work with the log miner as the extractor does. So that's why we do not need the tron data here on the target database. Cool. I will also add a heartbeat table here to have more accuracy regarding to the lag information. Perfect. With that, we do have our prerequisites configured to create the extracts and the replicates. Good. Then I move forward to create an extract. And here, when you click Add Extract button, it comes with the two options, Integrated Extract and Initial Load Extract. I'll explain very quickly the difference between those two. So Integrated Extract, it will be like the continuous extract flow of our capture process. So after you created the extract process, all the data will be captured from that moment on. Yeah. And the initial load is when the customer would like to do like exactly the initial load from a certain table or a certain set of tables, and this will be saved on the trail files for future usage if you want to insert afterwards, I don't know, in a big data environment or in another Oracle database as well. So the initial load, then it will just read all the data in the table. If you have 100 rows in the table, it will just read this 100 and save the trail file, period. And the integrated extract will just continuously capturing all this data. Yes, so then I will create integrated extract, and then I'll give a name, begin to start now, of course. I'll give a trail name here. It must be 2 characters here, okay? This is a prerequisite. The domain, and I will choose the credential alias, so from where the extract process should capture the information from. And this I pick my source database. Guys, this video is supposed to be short, that's why I'm not telling exactly what it means, all these options here. I do know what it means, but then the video will get too extended, so please let me know here in the comments below if you would like to have this more extended version of GoldenGate parameters and options, please. Cool. Then here the parameter file is where we configured all the tables that we want to capture from the database, and here I will just pick a ready example that I do have just to make life easier. Cool, so I have this table here that we prepared with the trend data, and here I can just push create. In background, it will create a capture process in the view dba_capture, yeah, and also attached with the log miner session. And from now on, I can just come here into action and start executing it. Cool. So after this process is green, okay, it's just this. Now we are ready to create the replica process. Then we go here on this button plus. So here we have several options. The options that it's more like best recommended, we'll go with the parallel replica non-integrated. Just means that we'll have parallel sessions opened in the database to, yeah, let's say, not speed it up, but it will open multiple database connections and sessions to apply this, the DMLs and the DDLs. If it's not parallel, then if we choose, for example, the other option, the let me get it here again, the non-integrated replica, then when you see the session in the database, it will be just one GoldenGate session, apply all the data. So we use the parallel replica for performance considerations. Then here we give a name, rep2. We select which database we would like our data to be replicated to. In the case here, our target database. The trail name is important here. So for the extract process, we choose a trail name called BB. Then here we just pick the same. Checkpoint table, we use the checkpoint table that we created a few minutes ago. Yeah, I always get the bad feeling when I don't explain what it's here. So basically, encryption profile, you can bring your own wallets if you want to create a customized encryption profile, so GoldenGate can use it. And here you can just make, for example, this process critical to the deployment health. So this just means if this replica is abandoned or give any error, then it means the manager process of GoldenGate will follow some rules in order to start it up automatically, this process. And here you're very flexible to do a bunch of configurations here of the options, the window, how minutes it will delay this auto restart and so on. So this is what it means. Cool. The next. So here, like the extract, we also have a replica parameter file where the mapping will happen here in this case, okay? So here we can configure our our mapping, how it's gonna work. So here I am also flexible to configure, for example, like this. So here it means replicate all these tables represented by the asterisk here from this schema and apply to the target database in the same schema all the tables. So that's what it means, okay? And of course you can put as many rows as you want here in this parameter file. In our case, I do have a ready example to use, so just copy and paste here. Please let me know in the comments below if you want a more extended version of this GoldenGate replication setup, because it has lots of parameters that can be used. But here, to make the video short, I'm just explaining the basics to you, okay guys? But feel free to drop a comment there. Cool, so then here, map, I will just replicate the single table that we configured. And I can just push create. And after this is finished to create the replica process, we can just go for actions button and start. Super. So it seems that we do have our extract up and running in green, our replicate also in green up and running, and now we should just give a try to see if this all is working as expected. Super, then I do have a SQL developer here, web, open, and my table here is ready, so it has no rows, okay, and then I would like to do some inserts to this table and to commit at the end. And if I do the same select again, then we'll have some rows, 14 rows exactly, cool. And then let's see if GoldenGate really captured all of this information. Here on the tab statistics, it will show you exactly what happened, yeah? So here all these statistics. For this table name, 14 inserts just had happened. And yeah, so this means the data was captured. And then what we can also do is to go to the target database and to make a select to see if the data was replicated. And here it is, all the 14 rows. So here, the same kind of statistics that I do have on the extract process, I also have on the replicate side. Now, if you go here, statistic, then it will show you for the source table, it was applied 14 inserts to the target table. And of course, if you have other stuff, deletes, updates, and etc., this will happen as well. The report file is very convenient for troubleshooting. It will show you lots of information about the tables that he's working at the moment to replicate. You can also put some parameters here, for example, to warn you in case you have a DDL or in case you would like to do error handling, for example, as I would do have here. In this example, if I have auto 03, no data found, the replicate, it will just ignore, but this is comment out, this is commented. In this case, if any error occurs on the replicate, it will just append. So that's what it means. Yes, so it's working. So we do have our pipeline created. If I'm not wrong, the extract is also configured to capture the DDL. So maybe we can just run a quick test. Let me check. Yes, it is enabled. Cool. Then I will just run a truncate, yeah, here on this same table. Okay, truncate is there. Then if I run a select here, I should see no rows, perfect. And if I go to the target database, where before I had 14 rows, then now I should have just 0, no rows, exactly. That's it, guys. So I hope you have enjoyed this video where we demonstrated how we can build up very quickly and easy a data pipeline to replicate data from one autonomous database to another autonomous databases. Before I wrap up this video, I would like to show you very quickly one important thing that we can do is to create a task where it will purge this tray of files, okay? This is important because when you are extracting lots of data, this will consume storage here into the OCI. If you go here to your deployment details and see the tray of files, you see we have a small tray of file here. But if it's a large database, then the size here will just continue increasing and create more of tray of files. So it's important that we purge this from time to time. And for that, we can just create a task here. You go just your configuration, task, purge trails, add button, plus button, and then give a name for the operation, purge trail, purge BB, for example. Our trail name, yeah, we add. And here to use checkpoints, this is very important. And here you can build up your own rule, yeah. So for example, here it will delete these trail files every hour, yeah, it will just purge them. And if you click submit, perfect, a rule is created. And the last thing I would like to show you is regarding the metrics. So here on your deployment, you can just check CPU utilization, for example, consumptions, memory consumption, the deployment overall wealth. This is very important, for example, if you want to create alarm on these metrics. Yeah, so if you have a productive scenario, of course, if your data replication pipeline is broken, you would like to get informed, yes, because this kind of things is usually critical to the customers. And here you can just build up alarms to get notifications, emails, and whatever. If your deployment overall wealth it's not 100%, or even you can create alarms on the specific extract or on the specific replicate. If you would like a detailed video on this one, how to do it, just let me know on the comments here below. But for today's video, that was it. We have learned today how to create a very quickly and simple data replication between two autonomous databases. Till the next time, bye bye.